Hey everyone, this is Mel from Cardstock Concoctions. How is everyone doing today? I am back today with another card project for us. Today we are going to be making a coloring book card. Why is it a coloring book? This top flap flips open and you actually have coloring pages underneath. Also, what's really great about this card is this little coloring book is removable. Again, it is removable. So this card is a 5x7 card. However, if you wish to make a smaller version of this card, I highly recommend just taking 1 inch off of all of my measurements. So just so everybody knows, 4x6, just take 1 inch off of my measurements. If you are looking for anything that I'm talking about today, measurements, names of papers, anything like that, click that description box below. That's where it will be at. Okay, so let's go through what we're going to need. So I'm going to pull this card off to the side here. The first thing, I am using a rich raspberry card base. I do not know if any of the cardstocks that I'm using are actually still produced by Stampin' Up, but any card base color combination of colors that you wish and coloring pages that you wish will be acceptable. My card base is 7 inches tall by 10 inches wide. Score down the middle at 5 to make the card base. I did not do that in front of you guys just to speed up the process. Okay. Then we need some coloring pages. Now, mine are 4 inches by 6 inches. Again, if you're making a slightly smaller card, adjust the size of your coloring book. This is a really great gift to give to little kids. You can take a kid's coloring book and, go ahead and cut it up as well. Or an adult coloring book, maybe you only have a page or 2 left, maybe 3 or 4 pages left. You want to send that to somebody at this time saying, hey, here's something that you can do while you're at home. It's really great. I have 12 sheets in here. 12 sheets of 4x6. Excuse me. This is actually from Inside the Lines Designer Series Paper Stack by Stampin' Up. It is a couple of years old now. I had a few leftover sheets, so I decided to go ahead and use those up. Now, all you do is you cut those at 4x6, and then you put 2 staples fairly close to the edge in the top corner, on the top edge of yours, because it's going to go sitting like this. Okay? You're going to need that as well. Now, I would highly recommend making your 2 white pieces the same size. I miscut my first one, but that's okay. It's going to be for the inside. So 1 white piece or 2 white pieces at 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So 4 7/8, 6 7/8. You'll need both of those. Then for our coloring book cover, you are going to need a 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Now, if you have a 12-inch piece of cardstock that you are using, go ahead and use all 12 inches of it. Don't stop at 8 1/2. It's going to actually work better for your project in the long run. But I wanted to make sure this was accessible to more people. So 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. It will not affect anything. So you need that as well. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. This first one here is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. It is for this top of the coloring book. And then you're going to need a piece that is 4 7/8 by 4 3/4 inches tall. If you wanted to make this a little bit longer, it's going to extend this back piece here a little higher, a little lower. It's perfectly fine. Now, to save some time, I did use the same die cut dragonfly. It comes from the Detailed Dragonfly Framelits dies. So I did use that. We're going to be using a couple of rhinestones. I don't know if I want the rhinestones today. Yeah, I'm probably going to use a couple of rhinestones for the eyes. And then I also pulled out a couple of brads, purple brads, put them in this bag so I wouldn't lose them, for the top pieces of the cardstock. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we are going to do is actually score this green piece. There we go. We're going to score this green piece here. So go ahead and grab your scoreboard or your scoring tool, whichever one you have. Now, if you cannot see the bottom of my scoreboard, please do not be concerned. Don't worry about it. For all the measurements, again, check out the description box below. Okay, so with the 8 1/2 inch piece at the top, I want you to start scoring at 5 3/4. So 5 3/4, 5 3/4. Then I want you to score at 6 1/8 Again, that's 6 1/8. Then again at 6 1/4. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot of difference, guys, but trust me, 6 1/4. And then 6 3/4. Now this back score line, don't have to do it very hard. Don't need to, go deep, anything like that. It's more of a guideline for you, okay? Just so you're aware. All right, get your scoreboard out of the way. Now, that back guideline, that 6 3/4 inch score line, do not actually fold and burnish that line. Don't mess with that line. So, again, that one was more as a guide for everybody than anything else. But fold the 6 1/8 and 6 1/4. And again, it's a little tough because they're real close together. But if you're using a designer series stack, paper stack, and you had 12 of them like I did, that is the width. It's 1/8 of an inch from bottom to top there. So there you go. Now this 5 3/4 inch score line, whoops, as it fell out of my hands there, I actually want you to fold it the other direction and fold and burnish. All right, that's going to allow your book to open and them to actually color on it. Okay, so there's that. All right, never mind, we're going with glue. Take a little bit of glue, run it in that 1/8 inch gap, and then also run it down to that 1/2 inch score line on the back. And again, on the front. And okay. Then you are going to carefully lining everything up, centering it, take it, fold it over, and stick it down. Okay. Okay. And again, if you guys have tear tape, that works really great. Fast fuse works really great. Glue also works, as you can see. All right. Now set that aside for it to dry for just a few minutes, and we're going to work on the card base. So pull back in your 7 by 10 inch piece, score it in half, fold. Guys, do not ask why, but I cannot actually fold and burnish the wrong direction. I don't know, it's just kind of a thing I've got. And burnish. I'm going to use snail to add in my inside layer piece. Again, more for speed's sake than anything else. Now, I'm adding in a white piece. It's not a requirement, but I do add it in, and the reason why is it's a very dark cardstock. So therefore, you want something to be able to write your message on. This is a great birthday gift, graduation, that kind of stuff. Now, for your other piece, again, I'm going to attach my larger white piece. Your white pieces, in theory, should be the same. I'm going to add more snail to this due to the fact that it's going to be holding a little bit more weight. Okay, there we go. Oops. I'm having problems lining things up today, guys. So bear with me here for a second. Now I'm going to add my smaller piece of designer series paper onto the top of my coloring book. And again, I'm just using snail. Use your adhesive of your choice. Sticking it down. Now, for your other piece of designer series paper, I would recommend using something with a little more oomph. And I'm going to grab, there it is. I'm going to be using tear tape. Now, this is not a requirement. You can use glue. The paper I'm using, though, is a little bit on the thinner side. So I want to make sure, there we go. And because the measurements are so close, make sure you know exactly which sides you are adding your adhesive to. I'm going to run a line pretty close to the edge of my designer series paper here on 3 sides. Do not put down all 4 sides, otherwise you cannot get out your coloring book. Again, you can use glue for this. However, my designer series paper is a little on the thin side, so I don't want to do that. And I'm actually going to add a strip there and a strip there. Okay. Just for added security and stability. Again, glue works. I would recommend not using your snail. Fast fuse maybe, however it's a really thick line and you want something slightly thinner. Okay, I'm going to pull off the backing on all my pieces here. And again, glue works. Can't say that enough. Oops. Now, this piece here does need to be up fairly high on your card base here. And again, I'm going to go right about there. There we go. All right. So again, fairly high. So I would leave about 1 inch, 1.25 inches at the top, and about 1 3/4 to 2 inches on the bottom. Now, with everything nice and tight and right, go ahead and slide your coloring book into your top of your card. So again, it is removable. So again, do not add adhesive to that one side, just 3 sides. I would make it fairly strong just to allow it to be picked up and moved a little bit more. I'm going to add my brads second. Now, if you guys want to exchange this for, let's say, enamel dots, that is perfectly acceptable. I'm going to be using brads. Now, I am going to cut off, oops, I am going to cut off, you guys can't really see what I'm doing here, but I will trim it off and I'll show you. I'm actually going to cut off the legs of the brads. And sorry guys, but otherwise this is going to go everywhere. All right, so I now have these 2 brads here, cut off the legs. You guys can see those over here. I'm just going to take the back of my paper piercer and push in whatever is left. All right, so push in whatever is left. Then, if you guys have small pop dots or dimensionals, is what I actually used on the inside. Now, if you guys do not have this, go ahead and stack up a few, kind of push that in there. Go ahead and stack up a few glue dots and push it in there as well. That also works. Pulling off the back of these pieces here. One right there. Now, the nice thing about these brads, it adds a little extra dimension to your project. Do I like it right there? Yeah, one right there as well. All right, and center them 1 inch or 2 apart. I do like that added look. It just adds a little more like it's an actual book, like you can flip through it. Now, for my dragonfly, you can do this with butterflies, a whole bunch of stuff. I just kind of curled my wings just a little bit with my bone folder. All right, just like that. I'm going to add a little bit, and I used liquid glue for this, so if nobody asks, I did use liquid glue for this. And I just went ahead and stuck him on. Now I used liquid glue because it gave me a few seconds to wiggle him around if I wanted to. Now I just kind of push them into place. Now this is one of those cards that I would recommend that you give with a gift, or if you are going to send it, it will require more postage. It's going to be too heavy for normal postage. Now, for the eyes, you can do a couple of things. You don't have to put on eyes. It's not a requirement. This time I think I'm actually going to run a set of rhinestones down the center there at the back. And I think I'm just going to cut off 5, I think. Is 5 going to be enough? That should be plenty. All right, so I'm just going to cut off 5. Again, these are pre-adhesive rhinestones. I'm just going to run down the center there. Instead of the eyes, I'm going to do that. All right, so that there is our card. Now on the inside flap, you can add whatever sentiment that you want. You could add a sentiment down here. Seeing as I don't know what I'm going to use this for yet, I do want to wait to add my sentiment. But if you know, go ahead and add it. So there we go. There you have it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down there. Until next time, this is Mel, and I will see you later. Bye.